Dorks Are Dangerous. This is our D&D actual play podcast, and you're tuning in for session 0. My name is Johnny Patches. I will be your DM, and I am joined by 3 of my players for now. And I guess we will start by going around the table, the virtual table, and introducing yourselves. So let's go with you, Bruce. Age before beauty.
Ow. Wow. Tears right into it right away. Yes. So hello everyone. I am Bruce. Uh, Full name Bruce Deckish. I have been a longtime D&D'er and I'm happy to join this session 0 of our new podcast.
And Kaylee, we'll go with you next.
Fantastic. Grace after age. Hi, everyone. My name is Kaylie. I am semi-newish to D&D. I am a tabletop D&D dungeon master for my group back home. I met everyone here on Discord, got to do a couple sessions here with Johnny, fantastic DM, and I am very excited to get going.
I will venue your money later for giving me your seal of approval.
Only here on Dorks Are Dangerous.
And Michelle.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name's Michelle. I've been a player of Johnny's for some time, and he's all right. Longtime player of D&D 5e. Love it with all my heart. And I guess I was, what was it? Age before beauty, grace after age. I guess I'll be brains after grace or something.
Well, we all have our roles established, I guess. So what we're here to do is we're here to give you some interesting content. We're going to set this in a homebrew world, and everyone who's involved in this podcast has a say on what goes on in the world. We're going to be taking turns, swapping out DMs. I'm DMing for the first set. When I am done, I will be joining 3 of these players as a player, as an adventurer with them. So you're going to get to meet some cool characters, hopefully find some new concepts. Find something that you like. Hopefully you enjoy this and you want to support us, and as long as you're enjoying it and you're having a good time, we'll keep putting out content for you guys. So we're all, spread out quite a bit. I am in New York. Michelle is our resident Canadian. Kaylee is in Arizona, and Bruce is in Minnesota. So we're all coming together virtually. We'll be using Roll20 on our ends, but we'll probably do a lot of theater of the mind, as this is more than likely going to be released on podcast format instead of video on demand. However, things can change in the future. If we are able to get a good enough following and you people want to see us putting out our expressions, our faces, the battle maps, and how things go, that's something that's definitely in the works, however. But for now, we're just here to have a good time and enjoy playing some D&D together. So I figured that we could start off with some icebreakers. So not only can we get to know each other, but anyone out there listening can get to know us a little bit better. So none of you know what these questions are, but I've written them down and I'm prepared for this and I'm excited.
I'm so terrified
Oh
immediately.
boy.
You should be.
You're already breaking up.
Curses. I blame Craig. So, Bruce, seeing as you want to be the most vocal, we'll make you the first one.
Oh my heaven. I knew it. It's just like in school, man. The jokesters and the ones who speak up, teacher, yeah, why don't you go first, Mr. Smartout?
Well, why don't you go first?
Yeah.
So we're going to start.
Good, man. My answer is 17.
Noted.
Do I
So
win?
we're going to go with a nice, easy question. What breed of dog would you be if you were a dog?
Ooh. What breed of dog would I be if I were a dog? That's actually not an easy question.
You got all day.
There's so many breeds of dogs, and the thing is, I've had so many in my life. The default one is for 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 most people here in Minnesota. I don't know about the rest of the world, the rest of the nation, but is probably a lab.
Well, they're brown lab, chocolate lab,
Vanilla Swirl
just
Lab.
labradoodle,
Right?
or just a mutt of the labs, which is completely acceptable.
In all honesty, it probably for me because I don't tend to walk the normal line, so I wouldn't choose a lab. I would choose, but I would probably by default choose, um, just because of my bigger nature, I suppose. People might argue that I'd probably be something like an ankle biter version of something because all bark, no bite. But I kind of see myself as more of a gentle giant, probably something like a Great Pyrenees or something like that,
Bruce,
or a
oh, a
Newfoundland.
newfie.
They're virtually this. Yeah, they're basically the same. One's just white, the other one's brown with black.
Haley,
So if I had to pick, I'd probably go. I'd probably go. Yeah, I'd probably go with a Great Pyr.
and there we have it. Haley, what's your answer?
Oh, I've been told this so many times in my life. I'll say Doberman. I come off in person. I'm almost 6 foot, and I'm very salty about that. I'm not quite 6 foot. I come off as very intimidating in person. But once you get to know me, and I get to know you, I'm pretty laid back and just want to chill on the couch next to you most of the time.
Michelle.
I would have to say probably either like a golden retriever, really like friendly, loyal, smart dogs, or border collie, something kind of really like adventurous and yeah, one of those. Golden retriever or border collie probably.
So, Michelle, I've known you for a while. You are not ditzy enough to be a golden retriever,
Golden retrievers are smart.
and very ditzy. Every golden retriever I've ever met's been ditzy. You are not ditzy. And that's the last time I'm playing you a compliment today.
Thank you.
I would be an English bulldog because I just want to have an angry looking face and lay around all day. So I'm not that far off. All right. Question number 2. Michelle, you have to sing karaoke. What song do you pick?
Ooh, ooh, I know this because I actually have a go-to. Um, it's been so long since I've sung karaoke for some reason. I wonder why.
Well, guess what session 2 is going to require you to do?
No. Vanessa Carlton, 1,000 Miles. That is my go-to karaoke song.
I can see that. That seems perfect for a girl that grew up in the early 2000s. So yes, that makes absolute sense.
Yep.
Bruce, our resident baritone or bass or one of those things.
Yeah, right. No, it's yeah. So I did sing quite a bit in college, and baritone is incorrect. Bass all the way, but so I have a go-to as well, Michelle, and that is uh, Neil Diamond's "Coming to America." But recently, I've come into "Human" by Rag and Bone Man, so it would depend on the crowd and the situation.
Interesting. I like it. I support it. Kaylee, your go-to karaoke song.
I like to make everyone's ears bleed with Sweet Caroline. Not a lot of lyrics, and you just scream the word Sweet Caroline, ba ba ba, over and over.
Well, we doubled up on the Neil Diamond. I did not expect that. Did not see that coming at all.
Yeah.
For me, my go-to is the bar because I hate singing karaoke. But the last time I did it, it was Santeria by Sublime. So that'll be defaulted as my go-to. So, Kaylee, your turn to go first. If you could choose two famous people to have for dinner, who would it be?
Oh dear. RDJ and
Who was that?
RDJ.
I don't know who that is.
I forgot his whole name. I only know by his acronym, Iron Man guy. I just totally forgot his name.
Oh, Robert Downey
Thank you.
Jr. Okay.
Oh my god. Oh, that's why I said his acronym. I could not remember his name. Oh no.
You two
Where
are on
will
a
I start?
Awesome.
you two are on a personal level. You don't even need to know his name. Just call him by his initials.
Hey buddy, how are you doing? No, for the second one, I don't even know. This is a fun fact with me. I am terrible with actor and actresses' names, or celebrities in general.
Well, it could be anyone.
Taylor Swift, just to say I met Taylor Swift, I think.
Boom, nailed it.
All right.
Michelle, how about you?
Oh boy. I wish we'd been given like the cue cards before this to prepare, because like this question would take some serious thought for me.
I agree. This question is.
You all think I feel.
I'm just gonna are these are living people? Actually, I'm not, don't even answer that. I'm gonna say it's living, because if it's dead, it opens up like way too many options. I will go with Chris Hadfield. He is a Canadian astronaut, and he is super cool and
Is
does
he-
awesome broadcasts from space, and just seems like an awesome person. So
Is he the one that did Space Odyssey on
Yes.
acoustic guitar?
Yeah.
I know more about Canadian astronauts than American astronauts. Thank you,
Oh,
Zelda.
He's super cool, so I would definitely want the chance to talk with him. And I will also say David Tennant, because he is one of my favorite actors, and he also just seems like a fantastic, fun person.
Well, see, that wasn't so hard. You gave the most Canadian answer you could have, next to Wayne Gretzky, and the most European answer in David Tennant. Bruce, your turn.
Hmm. Actors, huh? Or acting
Or
individuals.
musician, or
I would.
just
Famous.
famous.
Famous people. If I were to go famous, I would have to choose at least one of them would have to be a vocalist of some kind. And honestly, I'd probably go to recent events. I would say Prince, just because I would love to look into that life that he had. Um, but if we're leaning towards living, I would probably go Steven Tyler, of Aerosmith. Uh, I'd be curious to see how his life came to be, and then especially with his daughter, that whole world, right? I think would be amazing. The second person I would probably choose would be, honestly, oh man, it would either be, and I kind of see these two on the same level right now. Is either John Krasinski from Office slash Quiet Place, or Ryan Reynolds. I think Ryan Reynolds would just be a trip.
I could definitely see that. So, A Quiet Place, that opening sequence was filmed about 40 minutes away from where I live, in a small little town called Little Falls. And there used to be a gaming store like 2 doors down from that hardware shop that they go into at the beginning of the film. So that's my connection to John Krasinski, which is no connection at all.
That's
But
awesome.
none at all. We were on the same street, nowhere, months apart from each other. For me, I didn't even think of an answer for this, but I would say Kevin Smith, because I would just love to hang out with Kevin Smith. He seems like a chill dude. We could laugh a whole bunch. And Rosario Dawson. I adore her work, and I adore her. And if there's a chance, any sort of chance in the world, I'm going to take it right now. That's it. So the one last question for the icebreakers. If you were a D&D character, what race and class would you be? Kaylie.
I had a hard time finding my mute button. Is this just like the standard medium races or any race?
Any race, whatever. This
I
is
would
your icebreaker.
love to be a Goliath, just to be the giant that I feel inside, the Amazonian. And I would take the hit to my intelligence and wisdom just to be able to be that tall.
What class would you be?
Oh, that's a good question. I just find it to be hilarious if a Goliath was a rogue, so I would take a shot at that.
Kaylie, Goliath, Rogue. I may hold you to this one day. Bruce.
Honestly, let's do it.
That I'm sorry, that is genius. I love that concept of a Goliath rogue.
On par
nice
with a
choice.
gnome barbarian. So
Right.
Bruce, what would be your race and class be, my friend?
So that is so interesting because if you would have asked me when I was 10 and I first started playing D&D, it would have been the quintessential character fallback probably that I would go with, which was basically the that elven uh, fighter magic user, because that's when multi-classes were kind of a very difficult thing. But who eventually evolved into an elven fighter magic user thief acrobat, and that's when the acrobat came out from the unearthed arcana. So it was a whole thing that jack of all trades. And the reason I chose that was because the the group I played with only had three of us in it, the DM and two players, and so we had to cover all the facets. So that's why he came into being. But anybody who knows me now, and I don't, and there are people that would absolutely argue if I said anything else other than either a dwarf paladin or a dwarf cleric.
The acceptable? I believe the Dwarf Cleric more than anything else. Mostly because we're in a game on Tuesdays together.
Exactly.
And Michelle.
Oh boy. I would have to say, so for class, probably some sort of caster, because having magic would be wicked awesome. Um uh I'm a huge animal person. I love animals, so maybe a druid. Have that magic and nature sort of connection there. Um and probably one of the longer lived races, so maybe like an elf or a half elf or something, just to um see more of the world go by, and learn more, have more time.
What? For me, like you said, being able to cast spells, who wouldn't want to do that? So I'd have to go wizard, and I'd probably go elf as well. Being a long-lived race, seeing more of the world, getting to experience more things, you can't go wrong with that. So those were the icebreaker questions for our three cornerstones of this campaign and this podcast for now. So let's give you a segue into what the campaign is going to be. So everyone was given a bit of an insight of what's going on. And like I said at the beginning of this is going to be a homebrew world. So a lot of it is going to be original, and you're going to be learning a lot of the lore and a lot of the history as the players do in the various campaigns. So the premise behind this podcast is to have round robin DMs. So we'll have small mini story arcs that run the course of 4 to 6 to 8 campaign sessions. And then at that point, that'll be wrapped up in a nice site bow. And then we'll move on to another campaign where you'll find more characters and more NPCs, and you'll see other parts of the world. So, since I offered to start off, I set the groundwork for what is known as the Neo Kingdom. So it was a kingdom that broke off from the main empires, and it's still relatively young, it's still relatively new. There's a lot of chance for exploration, there's a lot of chance to grow in the world and grow into the politics and hierarchy of what's going on. So I wrote a little bit of a monologue to start off. So I'm going to hit you all with that now. So for some, the Neo Kingdom gave people an opportunity that didn't come around often, a chance to find fame and fortune in an uncharted land. The idea of a low-born son of a farmer that could become a noble without political or social hindrances roadblocking him became very enticing. A young empire that was founded on the outskirts of civilization with the ability to expand until it reached the sea soon became less of a dream and more of a nightmare. The promise of riches and the chance for a new beginning drew good people to the land, and even more people of less than moral standing. Criminals from across the land found new sanctuary within the new borders of the Neo Kingdom. Cut purses and cutthroats alike escaped the law and set up new criminal syndicates in every city, town, and hamlet before true law could be established. Those escaping religious persecution also found the Neo Kingdom appealing. Cultists and worshippers of dark lords became more brazen, setting up temples to their malicious deities in new villages that rose up almost overnight. That was 150 years ago. Although some were able to live the dreams, even more found the grass isn't greener on the other side. The Neo Kingdom has proven to be a rough life for many. For those brave enough, however, it has become an endless source of adventure. The farmer's son may not have found a noble title, but with some skill and a lot of luck, he may have found himself in the center of stories that will live on forever. So that is where you guys come in. You have grown up in a city from another empire that has broken off and joined the Neo Kingdom, once more believing that the grass is greener on the other side. But that was 150 years ago, so unless you're an elf, dwarf, or another long-lived race, all you've ever known is what the Neo Kingdom has had to offer and the stories of the other empires that you may or may not have come from. So, everyone has had about a month to come up with what they want to do with their character or what their character idea and concept is. So, who would like to start? I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, Michelle, but anyone can feel free to start first.
Wow, Johnny. Wow.
I said I wasn't going to throw you under the bus. Jeez.
I could start.
Then thank you for volunteering.
All right. Totally volunteering. Um how detailed are we getting with this?
It's whatever you would like the other players here to know, or what you would like anyone listening at home to know.
All right. Um I'm always a fan of bits and pieces coming out during RP, so I don't know that I'll delve into everything, but the character that I'm going with for this arc of our story.
Time out. Time out. I agree with you. And so before you decide what you say, and if anybody else has anything, please chime in. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. I say we let this come to fruition. Let's, and this is a suggestion, simply describe your character.
That's what I was
Like,
gonna
so if
do.
I were to walk down the street and I see you, right? And I figured, right? But because I'm the same, I think that I think that we should keep that between us and the DM individually. Now, we don't have to, but I just my 2 cents. I think that'd be fun.
I'm
Not
gonna
more than okay
take
with that.
that. Because I wasn't gonna say my class or anything like that. So
Okay,
Ooh, okay.
perfect. Describe your character and a little something about them that you would want everyone to know, or that everyone would know.
Okay. Okay. So she is fairly tall. I'd say about 5'10". Um, dark, uh, long dark hair pulled into a tight, kind of severe, high ponytail. Um, kind of, um, kind of grayish green skin. She's quite clearly a half orc. Um, uh, some assorted leathers and like animal furs covering her. Um, geez, what else? What else? She is very she's very kind of serious looking. Uh, looks very at home with being on her own, and she kind of unsettled when she's in the city, I'll say.
Excellent. Bruce, describe your character, your boy.
That's interesting. You'd think that after years of doing this, we would be better prepared
No,
at
no,
it. Never, you know
my
what I mean?
character,
Character appearance is like the last thing I come up with, and that was the thing you were like, "Hey, do this." So I was like, "Okay." On the
Yeah,
fly.
like totally.
character,
So I'm basically doing the same thing, so
my
don't feel bad.
character, he look like a man. Yeah,
Yeah, you look like a
that's
man.
what I've got. Like when you ask me, I'm like, no, here's a picture
Hey,
because maybe I'm not that creative that I think after all. But no, good job, Bruce. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
yeah, no, never a worry. Um, I would say so. On first glance or at first noticing this individual, you would simply see a very average height humanoid. And I say humanoid because you'd see a hooded figure with a potentially extended hood far enough that you cannot see his face or her face, potentially looking downward. Um, I would say a very average commoner build as well. If you did catch a glimpse of any facial characteristics, you might see a bit of a pale skin. You might see perhaps wisps of stark white hair. Other than that, and in the chance that you would catch a full on look uh, of the individual's face, which would be almost never. Uh, it would be something that you probably something that you didn't expect. I mean, it just doesn't match what you might even potentially think, um, because you would see a bit of a maybe a partial part of a mask.
And
Other than that, as far as any other things, I don't think you would really know anything. Pretty quiet, as far as likes to surveil a little bit instead of being that clearly someone who's just content, not necessarily looking for it, but content with blending in with the crowd.
excellent. And last but certainly not least, Miss Kaylie.
being scared is normal and natural, an appropriate response to when anyone sees a tiefling walking down the road. especially one that's over 6 feet tall, with deep red skin and unflinching onyx eyes. There's something to them that when you look at them, catch their eye, they pass a smile, and you almost think those fanged teeth are a little bit friendly, maybe not so sinister as Origin would say. You'll find this tiefling walking the streets, sometimes in a pub, making a joke, and seems to be a little tries to be very charismatic when possible, but there's always an eye watching the crowd, knows the crowd is watching back. On this tiefling, you will find black hair that goes to shoulder length, usually pulled in a half ponytail. Her horns are thick and but shorter. They go across her brow and come to almost a roll, a what's the word I'm looking for? Rolled tip, not a sharp point, but like kind of you got hit with it, be more like a punch than a stab. Her tail is long and thick, almost like an extra limb, sways behind her. Her armor is leathered with openings on the forearms for some reason, where it's exposed, as well as on the outer side of her calf, there is a slit along that side. Nothing sexual, just some spots in the gaps, almost a like where claw marks would go, but they're sewn that way. She carries 2 curved blades. She's got a pack on, and right now, if you were walking down the thoroughfare, she'd be leaning up against a wall, reading a small book of poetry. Some indiscriminate author probably caught it in a barter bag or a barter shop. That is Creed Griswold.
I like it. You came prepared. Very prepared.
Thank
Fantastic.
you.
So, those are our 3 characters. There will be a 4th joining the group before we begin our first recording session. But those are the 3 characters that you all get to meet right now. So, instead of doing the typical you meet in a bar and this happens or that happens, I would all like your characters to be associated in some way, shape, or form to begin your journey here. So you guys can brainstorm that out. What do you think would work? Just shoot ideas out there. Maybe you all would have something in common that would make you want to leave your home for now and go out to see the larger cities.
Creed would definitely, given her backstory, as all of our listeners will find out eventually, is probably looking for work as a mercenary, bodyguard, etc. So if someone needs one of those, or just an extra set of slicing hands, so to speak, she's your girl. If any of you two need that.
So, I would say that it's pretty simple for my character in that because of, and little tickler, because of his upbringing, true characteristics, and his true nature, um, simply wants to tear away from his known life, and I say tear away in both a good and bad way, because of family ties are strong, community ties are okay, but wants to tear away and simply get out into the world and surveil what's out there and to enjoy some of the pleasures of life that he may or may not have been denied or feels that he could be missing.
I would say for my character, and I realized during my description I didn't even give her name. So her name is Core. Um, for Core, she's mostly concerned with um, survival and making just making a stable life for herself through her own strength. So she's tended to stick to kind of the place that she thinks of as her home, and the wilds around that. So I think for her, she might have a little bit of wanderlust, maybe just to see what else is out there. But I think in her case, she might need a little bit more of a push to get out there and connect with other people.
Michelle, say your character's name one more time. I forgot to write it down. I'm sorry.
It's Core. K-O-R.
Thank you. I was gonna say, if Core and Creed meet up, Creed is definitely the person to push someone to their limits in a good and bad way. Given what she's done in her life, she had a planned life, so to speak, and she said, "Screw all that," and took a sharp left. So if Core's looking to take a sharp left or even a sharp right, Creed can definitely help with that and help push her in those directions. Maybe for good, maybe for bad. Might end up in a bar fight, might end up at rich. We'll never know.
So based on Kree's background and Core's background, Core growing up in the wilderness and helping to establish a settlement away from the major cities, and Creed being military based, it's very possible that you two probably had interacted while she was on tour, or they were stationed out by your new settlement.
Makes sense
So
to me.
that could be a good linking point between you two. Chumley, on the other hand, how can we link you to these other two? Even if it's just a casual.
That, and the reality is that you know something about this character, obviously, that they don't. And so that thing that I'm referring to, which I'll post to you in Discord. And I'm not trying to be so secretive. It's just that this is one of those fun things that will pop
One of those
out
character like, oh my god things, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be for a moment. I think it'll shock you, but 3 seconds later you'll go, oh, okay, type of thing. So it's not one of those evil things. I think that the correlation with my character and theirs could literally be anywhere. It could be through the local blacksmith. I did post. I don't know if you saw, Kaylie. I posted my contacts. So feel free to use any of those as either one of your contacts or another one that you could simply add. So my character would be in one of those places fairly often for the reasons that I posted to you, Johnny, about goals and that type of thing. So the blacksmith, the local tavern, if you will, that is probably, honestly, there would be a couple of them. One of them would be nearer to the front gate of town, or one of the entrances of town, and then one deeper within for, again, obvious reasons. And also the simple local shops. So he's not one to sit in a corner and just stay. He's very much, like I said, does observe, takes a moment, and then finds his way into said conversations, or reasonably. It's not definitely not looking to force way in. Just again, the whole point is meeting different walks of life and learning what he already clearly does not know.
I would say, oh god.
So it could be anything.
I would say there's probably a high chance of them both meeting at the tailor, where the male gnome is, Alston, due to how Creed's armor needed to be manufactured for specific stuff.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense.
Maybe
Again, the blacksmith as well, or perhaps a leather worker.
Chumley interjected when Creed was trying to figure out the best way to get her the stitching on her armor situated, and you provided a suggestion that kind of just like clicked with her, like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I like that. You and I are friends now.
Or even possibly you didn't know Alston. We met because you started at a blacksmith or something, or in
Ooh.
a tavern, or whatever it happened to be where we initially met. And then I would say, "Ooh, well, I know a guy."
I like
And
that.
then
Like she's complained to the
story as
blacksmith. The blacksmith can't help with leather, and you
Yeah.
stumped. I like that.
Yeah, so I know a guy, and as we walked and talked briefly about a variety of things, just a few shops, so it wasn't an awkward 3 mile walk, right? Just maybe a block or two, so a few quick things. Hey, nice weather, and what have you. Here's Alston, and Alston is exactly as I posted. He very to a degree suave, but at the same time extremely approachable, very dedicated to his patrons and patronage, and his craft.
I like it. Down with it.
I went way smoother than I was expecting. Very, very smooth. Very good.
Now, Michelle,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say for Michelle, Core, and Creed, like, where should we have this settlement? I assume probably like I have a group and I'm on patrol, and we come across your settlement or something, or maybe there's something going on.
The settlement is kind of a hunter's outpost. So away from the city and deeper in the wilds, but kind of between two cities, so that they can. The intent was to kind of be a way between, like a waypoint, and to trade their trappings with both.
Okay. I'm trying to think. A military scouting party would need from a hunter's post. Maybe I assume the hunter's post won't take like potions or anything like that, or this is purely just trappings and such.
Yeah, whatever they can scavenge from the wild. So animal parts, meat. They would forage. Some of them for sure have good herb lore, and would have different herbs for trading.
Okay. I would say Free probably came to the outpost then to get rations, so meat. Probably we got attacked on the road and her party's really feeling the pain and needs food or somewhere to rest.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, they definitely put up travelers overnight as well. They've got an inn there for that purpose, because again, they set themselves up as sort of a waypoint between cities, but nothing extended. They don't,
Yeah, just for the night.
unless you're one of them, they don't want people sticking around.
Makes sense. Okay. We'll probably have to like figure out the specifics of how Core and Creed interacted, but I like that idea.
Yeah, I think that works.
Excellent. So we have a good foundation for the first adventuring group. You don't know what I have in store for you, but I promise you it'll be okay. I'm not going to say it's good because I need to set the bar low and then I shoot high. So, anyone else have anything that they want to bring up to any of the other players? Anything they'd like to see? I know I've reached out to all of you for personal goals that you would like to see your character accomplish within a few sessions. So I am writing that into the story as well.
Michelle, I'll message you this privately, not to keep Bruce out of it, but Bruce wouldn't know this right away. So I'm gonna message this to you privately so you know this detail about Creed. Johnny, I'll send that message to you too. You already know this, so.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna say it.
love
I
Creed.
think I know what it is. And like I said, this is a completely homebrew world. We are discovering this just like all of you. Will have our own homebrew pantheon that we are working on, and we will make all of that available to you. What we are looking to do is we're not professional voice actors, we're not professional writers. We are just like everyone out there who's enthusiastic about role-playing games, D&D, Warhammer, Shadowrun, superhero games, whatever you like doing on tabletop. I've done it, I enjoy it, I love it, and I would like to bring another medium to all of you to listen, and we're all pretty much on the same page about that. What we are going to be doing, and the links will be in the descriptions below, is we will be doing a Patreon. We are going to use that to help the quality of this podcast, clean it up, gets everything done professionally when we hit certain goals, and then from that point, do giveaways. We're not doing this for the money, but we can go ahead and we can make an awesome community with everyone out there going to independent third-party creators and purchase their materials off online and then give it to you guys as giveaways, or come up with special events that everyone will be able to partake in for the Discord server that you'll all have access to. And it'll be anywhere from $1 to $20 or whatever you're willing to donate. Everything is going to go to make this a better product for all of you to enjoy. And we hope that you will enjoy Dorks Are Dangerous. And this has been our session 0. Anyone want to give any closing comments to anyone that has been willing to stick with us this long, that we appreciate and love you?
Ready for chaos.
I'm hyped. Hyped.
That's a Canadian hype too.
Absolutely. It's
A whole different level of
yeah,
hype.
I'm ready to go.
Yep.
That's 2 for 1 at Tim Hortons. Bruce, I'm sorry I cut you off. Go ahead.
No. I was just agreeing. The excitement is clearly there. We're ready to pull this trigger.
So this will be our session 0 for Dorks Are Dangerous. I hope you like what you heard. I hope you're excited, and I hope that you're ready to go on these awesome, thrilling adventures with us. So for Bruce, Michelle, Kaylie, and myself, Johnny, I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you decide to listen to this podcast. And we will see you all soon. Have a great day.